My next upload I'm going to share about today is with regard to the illegalities regarding the circumstances that is repetitious and that I have reiterated ad nauseum throughout the past 3 years. As I mentioned in my previous upload, there's an obstruction of justice against a private law-abiding royal, and there are individuals that have disrespected my sacred royalty. So as I am of a sacred royal status, there's a very serious issue with regard to the obligations that haven't been met since I gave birth and the unlawful actions that have been performed. The matter that I'm really addressing is the issue of my light body and the issue of offences against my light body in 2016, 2017 and 2018. The matter from 2019 to the present date of the culprits violating protection laws, proximity and violating my privacy, etc., and that are now in an attempt to further offend the laws that be and further their attempt to acquire from my sacred purpose. So this is just to enlighten a few light workers around the world with regard to the escapades and masquerades of the predators, as they're considered, that have manipulated and utilised from my light body light fragments that they have no right to. So as my body is of royal patronage and as I am of a royal hereditary, the issue of sacred fragments from my personal spiritual experience that are not for the acquisition of unlawful culprits that have not conducted their affairs in a courteous or considerate manner, and that have obstructed women and children's rights, unlawfully withholding my child from me, imposing upon my privacy, etc. These individuals that have disrespected the role of a sacred royal in the southwest of Ireland, Tralee County, Kerry, whose body they have damaged and whose spiritual light body they have utilised for monetary and exploitative means. So this is highlighting to the light workers of the world, basically, that there are predators in and around us that are not adhering to spiritual etiquette and that prefer to resort to distortions and damages and defamation and offences that are quite dangerous. So as we all know, sacred light is quite precious, and if anyone was to put a monetary value on my light body, I think there'd be a different perspective from a logical and from a sane and rational and lawful perspective. So the individuals that have been of identity theft, of imposter syndrome, as I refer to it, and as it is known in the field of psychiatry, is that they have continued to be offensive and injurious and insulting to the role of sacred in society, which exists, believe it or not, and that is quite unique to everyone, and that carries a purpose that is being disrespected in my personal experiences. My work has served the greater good, and I have worked for the betterment, as I've said, of society, and as a humanitarian and as a recovery advocate. The offences I'm experiencing as a married mother are quite sinister. So the individuals that are assaulting my privacy, defying protection laws of royal patronage, are in contempt and are not in a position to be of repeat offences, since they caused offence to my baby in January 2017 and up to the present date. So I'd appreciate it if the government would address the facts and reality of this situation. I've been contacting the relevant departments since 2017, and those trying to prioritise their personal evolution from my personal spiritual experience by spiritual assault and treasonous means are not within any lawful grounds. And that's with regard to humanitarian international law, that's with regard to constitutional law. So there are people that are helping themselves to a free meal while perpetrating very serious theft and not addressing reparations for very serious distress that they've caused to my child and I. So this issue is quite serious. The culprits and the laws that be are not congruent, let's say, with the circumstances I'm being presented with. So those that are making much ado about nothing are not entitled to anything that they haven't earned and that they are not entitled to. The issue of my farm holdings and my child and my sacred purpose are matters that are being offended, and the individuals damaging sacred light and being treasonous are hurting society and future generations. So the issue of royal patronage and the government's obligations is a matter that I would appreciate the government acknowledging at its earliest convenience, as I've been waiting for the past 3 years for this matter to be addressed with all the offences and defamation and slander that has been occurring.